Yeah, I shouldn't have said that.
All right.
Don't mess them up.
We're good this time, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, 3, 2, 1. Hey, folks. Welcome to Bouncing Brains. I'm Sean Hatfield.
And I'm Freddy G.
Today on the podcast, we have comedian Michael Paul Garcia. How the fuck are you, sir?
Don't ask me if something's wrong with Freddy. We had to do this thing over again.
Pretty
Freddy,
much.
what do you want to talk about? What's on your mind?
Wants to pull back the curtain on the Wizard of Oz here. I can appreciate that.
What's on your mind, Freddy?
You
Besides
were saying, no, it's not porn at the moment.
Oh, the 18-year-old adoption?
Yeah, no, not that either.
Giving up your own kid for adoption.
Not that either. You said something about, before we started recording that I told you this is good for conversation.
About jerking off in the kitchen?
It wasn't that either.
Or are we just running our material now? Is that what's happening?
No, it wasn't.
No.
We're talking about first jokes you came up with.
There you go. That would bring it back. So you were going to share your first joke.
Well, first jokes, actually, I got in by helping Mr. Mark Mayhem, as you remember, who was once employed with 107.9.
Yeah.
And also once employed with the county jail as a probation officer.
Yeah.
And also employed as a healthcare provider. And also employed. The point is, the guy had a lot of jobs and he's not very responsible. But I'd help him with, anyway, a kid, since I've known the guy for a long time. He got me into this game by introducing me to Mario. Mario met him. He asked me to help him with some jokes. I did. And then he needed me to go out there one time and fill in a spot. And I was like, what stupid jokes am I going to freaking say now? And I had one joke where he uses it from time to time now whenever a national will come up to you and like start talking to you like, Hoven. I was using the joke as me being out in the parking lot trying to walk back to my car, and every single national was like stopping me. Hoven, ¿dónde le puedo buscar dealers? And I'm just like trying to figure out ways of like how to get out of it. And like the closer they'd get, like I'd start unzipping my zipper like slowly and slowly and slowly. Like, and just run off. Or I'd like pretend like, okay, they're getting closer and closer and closer, and you're just there sipping your drink, and then all of a sudden just splash the shit out of them and run off. Like stupid shit like that. Like I was like, all right, like let's do that. And then I had, of course, that two assholes joke, which it's still money for me from time to time.
Yeah,
like,
that was and I was telling you, if that joke was one of your first jokes, that's actually a very good. It's a very good bit. And I think if it was up to me, I would encourage you to continue using it because it's just good. And I can't even tell you why it's good. It's good because, at least for me, from the beginning to the end, it kept me guessing to like where you were going.
It's gonna go.
And never once did I ever think of a punchline that was as good as the one you tagged at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to tag along with that and make another point is that I feel like as a comic, those are the best jokes where you keep the audience like
where's this gonna go? Where's this gonna go? Where's it gonna end up?
Yeah.
I get different reactions with it, I guess, depending on the crowd size.
On the crowd, yeah.
Like, I mean, well, everybody knows, like, the bigger the crowd, the further the wave of the laugh, it's just gonna go and carry on and carry on. And you're just gonna feed off of it. And once you're feeding off of that, you're gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna throw in this next joke. I know it's good. I'm gonna throw in this one too. I know it's good. I'm gonna end it with this one. It's gonna end it with a bang, and then pop. You just hear this fucking loud pop, and it's just like, oh shit, pulled it off. All right, I know I can do big crowds now.
I think it works great as a misdirection, man. Because like a lot of your stuff is very, it's playful. You know what I mean? The whole, like I was just quoting your joke the other day about the, are you fighting a cult? Nope, I'm beating it.
Beating it.
And it's just like that. Your shit like that is just like point, like boom, 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 boom. It hits, and then you get to that joke. It's a little more extended. It's got a bit of it's got some darkness to it, man. It's got. Like, I don't think the crowd's kind of expecting you to take them to a bit of an emotional place, and then you end it with that punchline, and it just works, man.
And I know most people do get it, but then like I hear that little silence of them like coming around to it, and just like, yeah, you get it, You get it. Don't act like you don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like, you motherfuckers. Like, I'm seriously truthful about that. Like, if you're gonna stay faithful to your girl, masturbation is key. I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
And when you don't have one too, of course, masturbation is key as well. But,
Yeah.
or maybe I'm just saying key a lot because I see the keys right behind y'all the entire time. So
maybe, but you do make a great
there's like a
point
key
with
sign
keys.
like right there the entire, just staring right back at me. Fuck it.
Yeah, I was telling you that because my first joke ever, and this is embarrassing because it's like it was 10 years ago. The first joke I ever performed was horrible. And I told you what made it even more horrible was the fact that I actually sat down and wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finished writing it, I thought it was like a fucking hitter. That fucking, you know what I mean? And it was retarded, bro. It was I was talking because I'm a recovering alcoholic, right? I've been sober for like for 7.5 years. Back then, I was I guess that was part of the funny part because back then I wasn't sober yet.
Right.
But the way the bit goes was I said, have you ever, and it was because I was a drinker. I was like, have you ever had your mom had that sobriety talk with you? I remember my mom had that talk with me, and she was like, look, mijo, you are not supposed to be drinking because drinking is bad for you. It'll mess up your liver, then it'll mess up your lungs. It'll mess up your well-being and your body. You're supposed to take care of yourself. Drinking is not good. And she went on to tell me, what I'm trying to tell you, mijo, is that if you continue drinking, you're going to end up like Robert Downey Jr. And I looked back at her and I said, for real? So you're telling me that if I continue drinking, I can turn into Iron Man? That's the shit right there. And that was that.
That's fucking good. That's a good one.
I'm sorry.
I mean, when you're writing, dude, you just like go with what's coming to you, man. You're just like, all right, like I do like this. Let me run with this. Let me try it.
And that 6 months ago, 7 months ago, that I tried it at Luna's Coffee House.
Yeah.
It, like I said, it was a packed house, and I got that one laugh like in the corner, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, yeah, he gets it.
That's all you need, dude. Yeah. Just to build that confidence, that one freaking laugh.
Yeah, man. But and ever since then, I retired that fucking joke. I'm never using that shit again.
I used to have one where how I approach girls at a club, like hitting on them, but I would only hit on them using movie quotes, like every single time. Like, you know, my friend was telling me to go back out there and try hitting on them and try not talking about your football career and see how they like it. And I was like, all right, well, all I do is watch movies and just get them with a movie quote. I bet you I can do it. And like, I'd go up to a girl and just be like, hey, baby, what are you doing in the corner? You look like you need a friend. I'm like, nope. It's like, all right, that one didn't work. And then like, I'm just a boy standing in front of a girl asking her if she'll perform mid-morning fellatio on him the next day. It's like, no. It's like, shit. Like, nothing's fucking working. Like, you know, what do you think of me boning you in the ass in the rain? Wow. It's like, all right, you don't like the rain, huh? That's from How to Be a Player.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, okay, but I'm not a player. I just crush a lot. Like, I tell the crowd that. And like, I'd get like a few laughs, and I'll just like, all right, that movie joke's kind of not working, so I better like start doing something else. And I don't know, man. I guess the hardest part for me is finding time to write more and more, dude. That's the hardest part, finding the time.
And I completely understand you. So a piece of advice that I've even given Sean, and I give this advice especially to the newcomers that are trying to get into comedy and everything. And I've been asked and approached before, like, how do you write? Like, what's your process, so on and so forth. And then, but they also asked me, like, I don't know why somebody asked me a couple of weeks ago. They were like, how does it work? Like, do you write like a musician where you write and you sit down and you write a song and shit like that and then you go with it? And their end question was like, how do you get better? And I was like, look, man, I'm going to tell you, but just because I'm saying that it worked for me, I'm not saying that it'll work for you. But I actually picked this up from the greats. I heard in an interview, Jerry Seinfeld, Eddie Murphy, and George Carlin all did the exact same thing. And that was what they did was they wrote every day. So, like, for example, and Jerry was the one that went into detail about it.
Yeah.
Jerry says that every single day, there's not a day that goes by that he does not dedicate 2 hours of his day to just writing. And then Jerry said, when I tell you to sit down and write for 2 hours, I'm not saying that in 2 hours you're going to write a joke.
Right.
But you just need to write anything. Anything. Just write it down. And the joke will come
out of it
to
somewhere.
you, like it'll, and maybe you'll spend those 2 hours and nothing will come out. But don't throw the paper away. Leave it there. Come back to it. You'll maybe come back to it tomorrow. You'll maybe come back to it in 2 months. But keep it, and that's how the funny comes out of the joke. And this was, I barely saw these interviews like fucking, I want to say like a year ago.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've picked that up every day. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you and say I set aside 2 hours, but I try to push for an hour. For an hour, I block everything out, and I write some of the most random shit, dude. And then and sometimes out of that random shit. Like the other day, I wrote 2 pages full of just ideas, right? And there was 2 full pages. Out of those 2 full pages, I didn't get nothing but 1 punchline. And I haven't tried it, so it might work, it might not.
One of the first things, of course, Mario would tell me. Raymond, of course, like he threw it out also. Like, hey man, come have a writing session with us and da. But the guy who like really preached it to me, like one time when we did a show with him, like the first time I got to do a show with him was Willie Barzana.
Yeah.
Like we're like hanging out, drinking, and like, I told him like, hey man, I'm just starting out. Like, what's your best advice? Like just, out of what you can think of right away. He just like grabbed me by the shoulder. He's like, write, vato. It's like, whatever you do, keep writing.
Yeah.
Write. It's like, whenever you have time, just write. Write whatever it is. Whenever you have a chance, go to your coffee shop, go to your bar, go to your girl's house, whatever it is where you take solace, just write. He's like, and everything's going to work out in its way the way it needs to. It's just like,
yeah.
Awesome, thanks.
And at the beginning, dude, it sounds like, I remember, because I heard it from like Eddie Murphy on watching an interview, right? And in my ignorant mind, I was like, yeah, Dick, it's easy for you to say you're fucking great at this shit. Yeah, just write, it'll happen. But then when I started thinking about it and I started doing it,
right,
I was like, oh, maybe I'm the dick. Yeah, this works.
Maybe it does work that way.
Yeah, it works that way. So and that's
I've become real lackadaisical with it, man. Lackadaisical is a word. Like I used to love, because I love writing. I was an English major, believe it or not.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and
so you know some shit.
Well, I mean, that was like another one of the first jokes I started doing too, like the difference between who and whom, and getting in a fight with my English teacher. But I would tease her because I could get away with whatever I wanted because they would need me on Friday night, so she wouldn't be able to fail me, and like I love I can write short stories, I can write like just random free thought stories or what have you. I do want to do sketches. Like every time Josh Cavassa posts things on there, like I'm thinking God, let's do a sketch. Like I do want to do a sketch. But then I just get caught up at home and I'm just like, God. And then the week before the show, Mario would tell me hey, are you available to do this next Wednesday? I'd be like, yeah, man, I'll make time. I was like, I don't have, anything going on. No softball game, no nothing. I'll be there. He's like, all right. So then for those next couple of days, I'll concentrate on writing a little bit here and there. And I'll try to think of something. I'll try to think of one or new joke, something, please, something come to me. maybe 1 or 2 jokes will come and I'll try it. And then all of a sudden it's just like, I'm back to the same old shit. I'm like, this isn't fucking helping me in any way. That drags down on my fucking demeanor and like wanting to like move forward as a comic. And then I'm just thinking to myself, I just like fucking going up there and telling jokes to people and hearing them laugh. I don't know if I'd consider myself a career comic yet. Like I've had like so many people like try to like make me change like my posting online like to comic, and I'm just like, no, I'm every time Mario invites me to go out of town, I'm always telling him no. He's already at the point where he doesn't even ask for me anymore. Raymond stopped asking a long time ago.
See, and I actually just had this conversation with Sean a couple of weeks ago, because I was up in Austin a couple of weeks ago, and I had 2 shows in Austin and 1 in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. So I was telling Sean that before I left, because I've been going like to these open mics and performing and shit, but I started noticing that my material was just I wasn't getting the reaction that I wanted, man. And then I'll be honest with you, there was nights where I would run through like my whole material and I would not get any reaction.
Right.
And like that was like a kick in the balls, dude. Like it was like, you know what I mean? So you know, I did that, whatever, so on and so forth. And I told Sean, it started to make me feel like I literally told myself and I asked myself, maybe I'm not funny. Maybe this is not for me, and maybe I'm not as funny as I thought I was. Right? So I started thinking that. So I left to Austin, did 2 shows over there, did the show in San Antonio, and I swear to you, bro, I tried the exact same material that I did down here, and it killed, dude. Like murdered that fucking stage. You know what I mean? And that taught me a very valuable lesson. And I told Sean, and now I'm not ashamed to say it, I'm not the problem. It's the fucking crowd that's the problem.
Well, you got to play to your crowd, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing
we
about.
Used to like at the Casino Array crowd, like you know, like you're gonna get like people there for a fucking comedy show. Like, hey, they came to laugh. They're gonna be ready for jokes. They're not there to do anything else. They want to laugh.
Yeah.
You go to a place like Paradise in Westaco, the way it used to be. Mañosos everywhere, fucking drunk Sanchos and Sanchas just fucking getting wasted. The owner fucking buying everybody drinks and so loud playing pool. You got like half the people there to like listen to like a show, and the other half just in the back being fucking rowdy as shit. And so you're doing those jokes, you know, killed the other time you fucking had a Casino Array show, and then all of a sudden you only hear like a couple of chuckles here and there and that show.
Yeah.
And that's gonna fuck with your head like the next week. Well, like, what the fuck? Like, is it fucking me? No, it can't be me. It had to be the fucking crowd, you know? Just like the way y'all deal with the shit at Yadbada. Like, you know,
yeah.
You can do like a joke there at the Casino Array open mic, and it's like, hey, it kills. You do one over there, that same one over there at Yadbada, it's like
and I also told Sean, man, the other day about that exactly. For me, for whatever reason, it's happened a lot where it's on the reverse. I've tried material at El Rey, and it doesn't land. I tried the same material at Yerberia, and it kills every time, dude. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Well,
like,
man, I think that goes to, you hear a lot of like the bigger comedians talk about making that transition from the comedy clubs to the theaters, and they're like, okay, you have to time it a little bit different. You were talking about the wave of laughter. You got to wait for it to hit the back and then come back to you. And yeah, man, El Rey's a great workout, man, because it's like you have to claim that fucking stage, man. Yeah. It's like, I mean, if you're not, I've seen people go up there and have like great material, but they're kind of
their presence is like
it would.
What is he doing?
Honestly, if we were all, if it was one of those rooms where it's not even a stage, you're just standing on the floor and you're right in front of them and the ceiling. You know what I mean? If it's a small room, it would have worked perfectly because it's that intimate thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, I got that a lot where it's like if you treat this as just like you're standing in somebody's backyard, like it's like, oh, we're just all here. You know what I mean? It's a different fucking vibe, man. Like you were talking about the bar shows, and even that is almost you almost have to like go like, yeah, the guys are in the back making noise. We're not talking to them. We're talking to you right here. You know, you have to.
But you have to like acknowledge it just to like let everybody know like it's not gonna fuck with me. So I'm
but you gotta vibrate
you, like. But you do have to like let them know like, hey, motherfucker, I'm up here fucking doing something too for you. It's not just for them. You can fucking laugh along too. You fucking idiots.
Yeah.
But
and it's like that brings me to the next point that I wanted to make. Did anybody go to the comedy show on Saturday? With the Chingo Blink comedy show?
No, I didn't get to make that one.
So my friend went. He told me today that he went, and it was a packed house, right? Because they sold out, right? And he said that it was Chingo Bling and 2 other performers,
right?
So the way they did it is they would go up. One would go up for 30 minutes, get off. Chingo would come out, do it for 30 minutes, get off. Another guy would come on. The other guy would come on 30 minutes, so on and so forth. The first guy got on stage, and my friend said that he absolutely murdered the stage. It was like everything from commanding to the jokes and delivery, killed it. So the crowd was already, and he's like, keep in mind it's a packed house.
Right.
The crowd was already on the up, you know what I'm saying? And then the other guy, the second guy came up, and he did his set, and remember, it's 30 minutes. He did his set, and he completely bombed. But he said, he's like, dude, I'm not a comic.
Right.
And I felt bad for the guy, you know? I kept looking at him, and I was like, dude, just say something funny. Just one thing and I'll laugh, you know what I'm saying? And it just, but he said that he bombed to the point where the room was silent, like it was just silent, dude. And then he was like, and I was like, dude, did he get off the stage like at 15, 20 minutes?
Nobody lit him.
And then he was like, nah, dude, just
let him go.
He stuck the 30 minutes, and he got off, right? So then he got off, and it was Chingo's turn again to come on.
Yeah.
And then Chingo like picked it up because he was like, he was funny. Like he was like really funny. So he picked up the crowd again. And the word was that they were going to rotate again. Yeah. And it was that guy's turn to go up again. Because he said that they almost played for 2 hours. Yeah. So it was like, but he didn't come up anymore. They tossed it to the first guy that went up, and he murdered again. So I told him, I was like, hey man, I know you're not a comic, you might not entirely understand the mechanics, but can you at least tell me like what were the subjects that he was talking about? And he told me, he was like, no man, I think the material and the subjects were good. Yeah. The only thing is like his delivery, bro. His delivery was just horrible. He said that he was talking about a lot of like energetic shit, like shit that you need to be animated about. And he was using the demeanor of this is and as soon as I pictured it, I was like, oh, I can see that shit. Is his name McDonald? Was his first name
Norm Macdonald?
No,
Norm Macdonald.
Yes,
very very dry. Yes, very.
Think of that demeanor, and think of
I love Norm Macdonald.
No.
McDonald.
That's what I'm saying. But just think of his demeanor, but think of an energetic, I can't speak. Energetic joke that needs animation, and stick that demeanor on it. He's like, that's exactly what he did, and I feel that's why it didn't work.
I was because I was trying to look it up right now. I don't know if you read it. You might have read it. The comic festival they had in Toronto or in Canada, where they booked like a bunch of top writing comics and like stand-up comics, and one of the headliners was this YouTube comic. Like he had a bunch of followers on YouTube. Okay, and they made him the headliner, and he was going to close out the show. Have over all these other guys that are like legit funny, like stand-up comics. Like they know their shit, they know their material. Right. They decided to have this YouTube guy because he had so many followers. Like, okay, we're just gonna put him on.
Okay, this was a pop-up festival. This wasn't like Laugh Out Loud or something like
No, it wasn't like Laugh Out Loud. It was something else.
Or Just for Laughs, I think is the festival.
Sam was talking about it also. I'm sorry. Sam Demars.
Yeah.
He was talking about it also. Like, you know, this is why jackasses from fucking YouTube shouldn't be given like spots like at clubs or comedy shows. Like they're just,
I agree.
They think they're like the funniest shit in the world, and then all of a sudden when they fucking get the light shined on them, it's like, oh, I'm gonna start critiquing all of you because you don't understand me, so fuck you and da, 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 da. Like that guy did the headlining show and it was just cricket sounds. Like nobody's like understanding him. Like what the fuck? And then he decides to tell him, well, I don't think anybody should be telling any misogynistic jokes or any other type of jokes like that because that's not funny. Because some other comics before that had some material that was like that, and he was just like, I guess people just don't understand funny, and he walked out. And then it's just like nobody laughs at you. They come there to laugh, but you're going to criticize them for them not laughing at.
You know what? I think I know who that. I've come across some similar stories, and I was watching something on this guy had basically was getting booked at colleges because his shit was fucking milquetoast. It was soft touch, making nods to the whole PC thing, like the whole you said, we shouldn't make misogynistic jokes. That's not a punchline, motherfucker.
It's not.
You could say that when you get off stage,
but or at least get a laugh before you say something like that. Like,
or follow that up with something really misogynistic. Yeah, it's like.
But I mean, I don't know, man. That's as far as like guys. Wasn't Javi supposed to be the other guy that Javi Luna wasn't supposed to be the other guy with Chingo Bling?
I was going to bring up names because I think I know which comics were doing that show, and then you started to go, he bombed, and I was like, never mind, I'm not going to. I would be willing to guess that the first guy he was referring to was probably Javi Luna.
I'm hoping it was Javi. I don't know if Javi got better enough.
Yeah,
because I think Javi was feeling kind of sick and he wasn't able to travel.
Yeah, he had a medical issues.
But I didn't get to find out who the openers were, man.
I want to say I saw a post from Javi yesterday or today where he was saying he killed on Saturday.
It probably was because I know Chingo Bling loves him, dude. So. Yeah. He'll take him, like, if everybody's down here in South Texas, he'll ask Javi to, like, come with him wherever he can. And Javi's part of that crew now.
Oh, dude, Javi's a killer, man.
Oh, yeah. Javi does it good.
And who was that one guy referring to the point y'all made earlier? There was a one comic, and he's, like, a professional, famous one. Same thing happened to him. He had this big show at a festival. He went up there. Did his material for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to do an hour. And like nobody was laughing. But because of the same reason. Like he was making jokes that were like people were taking offensive instead of funny, right?
Right.
But the reason I bring that up is because he was supposed to do an hour and a half. And he literally only did like 20 minutes because he wasn't getting any reaction. And he stopped and he looked at the crowd and he was like, if y'all ain't gonna appreciate this as comedy, fuck it, like I'm just gonna get off stage. And he began to walk off. He came back to the mic and he said, and don't you even think for a second that you're getting your money back. And he took off because he had already been paid.
Oh.
So, but it was I can't remember the name. Like, I know that it was like a professional comic.
Rule number 1 in contract business: pay the contractor half now and half when he's done. Chinga.
But you take the recording from that, you call it, turn it into an album, and call it "The Check Is Already Cleared."
The check is cleared. I'm out of here. Fuck you all. Oh my god, man. Have you ever like got disgruntled like on stage just because like you'll see like a little, There's going to be shows where you're going to see like a group of girls that were there. They stopped by because they were out there hanging out downtown or wherever they were, and they're in there giggling, and you're trying to do your show for the rest of the crowd that's there. And then all of a sudden they just want to be part of the show.
Yeah.
And then you don't make them part of the show, and they get all like, fuck that. I wanted to be fuck you, and you're not fucking funny.
Yeah, you weren't there.
Right.
When the last time or the time before the last time I performed at LA, I think it was you that was there. They exactly that. There was some white girls in the corner.
Always white girls. Sorry, Sean. Always white girls.
They were young.
It's not. They're just easier to see in the dark.
And they kept talking. Like they literally kept talking or whatever. And then but they were talking loud enough to where you could hear them.
Right.
So I turned around and I was like, "Hey, do y'all mind? And I told them, I was like, do y'all mind? Can you shut the fuck up? Because like this is my time on stage and I only got 10 minutes and you're fucking it up for the rest of it." She's like, and then one of them looked at me and she's like, "That wasn't funny." And I was like,
it wasn't supposed to be.
I was like, it wasn't meant to be funny. I really did mean for you to shut the fuck up and let me continue. And she was just like, oh, and then the other girl, there was another girl sitting next to her, and she was like a bigger girl, right? And then I was looking at that one that was talking back to me, and I didn't do it on purpose, but I just turned around and I made eye contact with the bigger girl.
Right.
And as soon as I made eye contact, bro, she literally did this on the table. She like turned around, and then so because she did that, I was like, well, don't turn around. It's not gonna stop me from fucking with you. I mean, and I was like, if I turn around, he won't see me.
You're like, I can still see your tramp stamp, so that tells me everything I need to know about you.
So yeah, I started poking fun at them, but I mean, I got off them after a while but then after I did that, they did shut the fuck up. Like they stopped.
I'm not gonna whine about white girls at comedy clubs. They're very giving afterwards if you're all nice to them. So.
There's a great set with Olivia Arrington was headlining at El Rey a couple weeks back, and the table of girls, they were out there clearly having a night, you know, fucking kids are at home with the babysitter and bullshit. And Sonia goes up and does the feature spot, and she kind of calls them on it a little bit, but I'm sure you've seen Sonia get a little mad at the crowd, like they were that bad, where Sonia got a little
Sonia
upset.
gets like, hey, like.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I'm fucking up here, man.
Like, we're going to pause for a second here and address this
man.
shit.
Like, you know, she's getting pissed off when she uses the word man a lot at the end of her sentences. Like, hey, man, what the fuck, man? Are you not seeing me up here, man?
Yeah, but,
come on, man. If you're just standing up here, come my fucking beauty, man.
But so she does the feature spot, gets off, and Arrington gets on, and you've seen Arrington before, right?
She kills. I love her.
But she's also got that aggressiveness.
Oh yeah, she does.
To the thing.
Like she's professional, man. Like she's got to be like, hey.
She's that older lady that does not give a fuck. And she gets up there and she just handles them like it's part of the fucking act. Like they were plants in the crowd. That's how fucking smooth it was. And they shut the fuck up.
Right away.
But yeah, man, that's one of those things you got to claim the goddamn stage, man.
You do, man. Especially when jerk off's little like, hi, it's like some, like, you know, you're having a good show. Then all of a sudden you have like one, I would say drunk jerk off, or just maybe it's the guy's first time at a comedy show. He'll start yelling out like little answers when you're trying to, like, you know, work with the crowd and shit like that. And it's just like, cállate el hocico, dude. Like, nobody's asking you want to come up here and do this shit, like, too? Like, are you really that funny? Like, no, man, I just, like, you know, want to be part of the show, but I don't want to be part of the show. It's like, oh, okay, all right. So you're like one of those guys, like, you like to watch people have sex, but you don't like having sex. Is that it? It's like, all right, man. Like, I guess it's gonna, I don't know. You're gonna run into different shit on different stages, different times, and how you come after it.
And somebody actually did that to Mario when he was headlining at El Rey. That he did like an hour and a half or some shit. There was a guy that wouldn't shut the fuck up. And Mario turned around and he was like, all right, man, like, are you going to shut the fuck up and let me continue? Or like, what's going on? And he kept going. Like after, and Mario was like, would you like the microphone? Like he stepped back or whatever. And then Mario just like left him alone. Like he finally like kind of chilled out. The guy, and he stepped back or whatever, and Mario just turns around and he was like, see, this is exactly what happens when you do cocaine right before a comedy show. So
oh man,
so
dude,
then that shit was funny. That shit was fucking hilarious.
I think one of the crazier things that happened to me at El Rey was like when I first started, like, and this guy just out of nowhere, like just stumbling like down the freaking aisle, walking, and I'm thinking he's going to his chick, and I'm just looking like, you know, at the side of my side view, and I just see like I was literally just moving more and more. It's like, all right, he's going to the back. And I'm still there telling the jokes, and all of a sudden he appears like out of nowhere, just like right next to me on stage. I'm just like, "Oh, what's up with you, cabron?" He's like, "Hey, give me that fucking thing." He's like trying to take the mic away from me. I was like, "That's
Wait,
not
where
part of
did
your
this
job."
happen?
At El Rey. I was like, "It's not part of your job." And I'm looking back at Bert, like in the back, and then Bert's like trying to look for Roy, who was like the doorman at the time. I don't remember Big Roy. And he went like looking, scrambling, and I'm already about to like, wrestle this guy down. And then all of a sudden he's like, "Fuck y'all, fuck this whole fucking place. I don't give a shit." And he just like jumps off the stage and then he takes off running. And I'm just like, "All right, well, there goes my brother-in-law, you guys. Sorry about that." And like Roy and Bert and everybody, Isaac too, when Isaac was hanging out there, like they all went like chasing that guy, like, what the hell is his problem? And like the whole time, like I was thinking, like, do I like wrestle this guy down? Like, what the fuck do I do? Do I give him the mic just to like let him calm down? Like, how do I handle this situation? Like, it's a drunk guy up here trying to like get the freaking mic.
Yeah.
And then I'm just thinking, like, shit, like that should have gone worse. Like, if I actually offended somebody with a joke and he decided to come walking up and like try to like, have something with them.
Well, I mean, you see it time and time again, man. When people kind of in a way bite off more than what they can chew. I mean, and sometimes I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I've seen it because I've seen it on video where it is the comic's fault. Like the comic will pick and pick and pick at a person in the crowd for whatever reason, and then they just get fed up with it. And they like, and I hate that shit that I can't fucking remember names. Another professional comic too.
Well, I want to say either that person asked for it or that was just a weak comic because they had nothing else to work with.
Yeah, exactly. And I've always said that as well. But he was going at somebody, and then the audience member told him, he was like, if you don't shut the fuck up and lay off, I'm gonna put my hands on you. That he yelled it out. That's exactly what he said. And then he didn't listen. He made a stupid remark again, and he literally fucking went on the stage, and he took the mic stand, bro, and he started swinging the mic stand just because the other guy, the comic, was like skinny and fucking agile. He was able to dodge all that shit, but he swung a good
American Gladiators out there.
He swung a good 5 times, dude, before the security could actually like get up there or whatever.
I never actually got in a fight like at El Rey, but I remember I threatened one guy because he was picking on Mark Benya. Like I was like, "Don't fuck around, dude." I was like, "Not with him." He's like, "Well, this little skinny skanky ass is fucking talking shit." And I was like, "No, he doesn't talk shit." I go, "Mark Benya's like the least person to fucking talk shit. Like, don't even try picking on him." And then, Mark's just standing back there with that G, and it's just like, what does he do? What does he do? Just, hey, go to the back. Yeah. And of course, I wanted to jump Mark Mayhem, of course. I wanted to jump Mario sometimes. Raymond sometimes, I'll just piss you off, and I'll just be like, "Nah, whatever, Raymond. All right, I understand. You're doing what you're doing. You do you, man." And I don't know, man. I guess, like I said, I don't consider myself a career comic. I don't know if I do anymore. I guess I honestly, dude, I want to say like shit started going down for me like maybe a little after Mark left, but before that, it was when we lost our friend Ray Lopez. Like he would like get me to like go write. Like he would tell me like, "Hey, I want to go writing." Like, "I'll meet you at Moonbeams." "All right, let's go." Like, "Hey, let's go watch this movie." Like, we went to go watch This Is the End, or like, "Hey, let's go, hang out over here at a cigar bar for a little bit." Like, I just turned 21. Like, come on. I'm like, all right, let's go. Like, just like this, little brother, like in the comic world. And like, everybody loved the guy, dude. Like, everybody did. Ray loved him. Mario loved him. Sonia loved him. Like, it was, he was good at writing, and he wanted to like, that was his dream. Before that, he didn't know what the fuck he was going to do. He thought he was just going to be playing fucking PS3 the rest of his life in his fucking mom's living room. And then all of a sudden, he goes to an open mic show at Cine El Rey, and he hears jokes. He loves telling jokes. He starts showing up more. Mario ends up going to jail during the summer, and they need a host for Cine El Rey. and they go down the line. And like I told him, like, well, I can't do every Wednesday, man. I'm not gonna be able to do it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, all right. And I asked Mark, like, Mark, I can't do it either. I got other business stuff. Da, da, da. You know, Sonia, she'd have to be driving back and forth like all the freaking time. That'd be too much for her. And, you know, they really weren't paying too well at that time. So she didn't know if it'd be worth it. And Ray was there, and Ray volunteered. And he was there every week, every Wednesday, introducing the new headliner, the new people. And just this big old smile on his face, dude, like just loving it. And like when you saw that in him, like, you know, it brought it out in you. It's just like, shit, like this could be something. Fuck yeah, let's fucking do this. Like, you know, he's like, you know, telling Nathan Hosey and Mark, like, yeah, let's go traveling over here. Let's go to San Antonio. Let's go to Blind Tiger. Let's go to, you know, Velveeta Club over there. You know, let's all do this as a group together. You know, we can all, you know, it'll be great. It'll be fun. It'll be awesome. You know, it was just that little fucking thing in your ear just reminding you, like, come on, man, come right with me. Like, hey, what do you think of this? Like, hey, what do you think of that? Like, oh, no, let's do it this way. All right, yeah, that's fucking funny. I fucking love that joke. I'm not going to lie. Like, that was like a little bit of a driving force for me. And then when he passed, like, it was just like, shit. Like, you know, now, what the fuck? You know, and I'd talk to like Mark from time to time, and Mark was still like, you know, telling me like he was trying to write as much as he could, but Mark's Mark, and he's doing good by himself. He's gotten a lot better. A lot better. When he first started, he was telling like fucking choro, like churro jokes, like how you confuse choro with churro and everything like that. And I was like, that's fucking disgusting, Mark. You're gonna go nowhere with that fucking attitude. Yeah. And like he's gotten way better, and he's doing awesome over there in Austin. And I don't know, I guess like after him leaving too, and like Ray, like for me, I was just like, I'm just gonna go tell jokes whenever I get a chance to tell jokes. If they still want me around to tell jokes, I'll tell jokes. And I guess that's where the whole lackadaisical sense is just come out of me. Like I don't got that drive yet anymore. Maybe something will pinch me in the ass, dude. Maybe it's one of those white girls from the table. If they pinch me in the ass, it'll get me up and going again.
But like, and I've had this conversation with like different people and stuff, and this is something that I ask to most people that I meet that either do comedy or perform stand-up or whatever. I always ask, like, but like, is this really what you want to do as a career, or is this like a hobby for you?
Right.
And then depending on what they say or whatever is the approach I take. But like, which is where I'm going with you, like is this what you choose to do as a career? Like, do you love it that much?
Honestly, I love getting the opportunity to go up on stage and tell jokes. I love to hear if they'll love it. But then like when I hear like the sound of voices of like people like, oh, you're not gonna be able to go out of town with us, are you? Like, no, I can't. Like, all right, never mind. We just wanted to find out. Like, hey, you don't want to go do this? And they're like, I can't. All right, never mind. So I'm just like, shit, like, I don't know. Like before I would have been like all for it. And like I said, I don't know. I don't consider myself right now a career comic. I don't. I just consider myself fortunate enough to go up there and tell jokes.
Yeah.
Look, man, honestly, I think you're putting a little too much too much emphasis on that qualifier of career comic, man. Because I'll say this, man, I've invited you out to do a couple things locally, of course, man. Yeah. But I've never like contacted you and had you be like, like it's always been like, yeah, bro, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I think you may be putting a little bit too much pressure on that, man.
I mean, maybe, but again, you're not telling me to go to like San Antonio. You're not telling me to go to, you know, Del Rio. You're not telling me to go to El Paso. You're not telling me to. And I don't know, man. I just don't see myself as a career comic, really, dude. Not yet. I did, but then I guess something just depleted from me. Like, I don't know. I got to find that niche, I guess, that drive again one more time. Something.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, and I hate to be repetitive and like go back to the same thing. But I feel that this will sound crazy as fuck, but honestly, dude, when you really get back to writing, you'll figure out you'll be like when you get back and sit down and actually write like the way I was telling you earlier, that'll help you 90% of the time to figure out like, is this really like what I want to do? Yeah, I guarantee you, if you like continue, like if you go back to writing and continue writing, and then you feel like no, like you're still not feeling it, then that may be telling you otherwise. I'm telling you because that's happened to me before.
Right.
But that's happened to me when, for whatever reason, I stopped writing for a couple of weeks or a couple of days or whatever. Then I'm like, no, I don't have any material or whatever. But then I start thinking, well, dumbass, you haven't written anything in 2-3 weeks or whatever. Then I really get back to, but that's the thing. Like, I really do feel, at least what works for me is like you really do have to like sit down and dedicate that time to write. Because if you're sitting down and doing something else and then you're like, oh, think of something and write it down, that's cool. But that's not really like dedicating the time to it.
Right.
You didn't sit and dedicate that time to like write or whatever. And I just feel that that'll feed back into it. I mean, not unless you got some other shit that you.
I mean, I do,
out.
but I guess you could say I'm the same mindset of it, like the way Adrian is. You know, Adrian will do his writing. Adrian will go up there on stage when he gets invited. But Adrian really doesn't do much else. Like after that, it's just like, all right, thanks, we appreciate it.
To be honest, man, I see a little bit more spark in Adrian's eyes, like when since he's taken the DJ thing a little bit more seriously.
Yeah,
like,
I guess you could say that. So that's, I mean, me and Adrian, like, we started around the same time too. It was me, Adrian, Mark, Sonia, Ray, and Mark Benya. Like a little bit later, like all of us were there, the casuals at St. L. Ray. And
I never had the chance to meet Ray. I think I came into it maybe.
I think you're coming in like just around that time, more or less, like a little bit later.
It was probably about 6 or 8 months after Ray had passed away when I came in, because it was still there were still the morning colors were hung up on the wall.
It still is.
But I do get the sense with at least a couple of y'all that were kind of in that class, I guess. Man, he was shining hard, because and I've talked about this on the podcast before. I never met the guy, but I have met multiple headliners from around the state and I want to say even a couple of guys that were from California, maybe not headliners, but comics that have come through and worked, and they're like, oh, you're from the Valley? You know Ray Lopez? And it's like, no. And then even if I'm telling them I don't know the guy, they're still sitting me like, dude, I was doing this Corpus show one time and Ray was there. And I was like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, dude, he left a big impression, not just because of his size, but because like he just had like something about him that like just stood out, man, and everybody just gravitated towards it. If you go on YouTube, you can see like one of his shows that we had down here at what's the damn salsa club that we used to have it at from fucking time to time?
It was Havana, right?
Where? Oh yeah, Havana Club. Yeah.
They had comedy shit there?
Yeah, we used to have it there till the fucking shit went downwards, worse than Dirty Dancing too. Like seriously. Fucking and I love that stage. That was a cool stage to like do comedy on and shit. We had like one of the funniest people in the Valley shows there, contests.
Yeah.
And it's an awesome like little stage, and the whole crowd. You know, you can feel the vibe in there, man. It's awesome. But I guess bridges get burned, and you got to go find another fucking venue. So
yeah.
There it goes.
And I mean, if you don't mind me asking, I mean, and if it's cool or whatever, and we can't, because I came into the comedy. I've been doing comedy, like I said, for a minute, but I was living out in California, and I did it at a couple different spots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The comedy scene down here in the Valley, even though I was born and raised here, I came in like way later. I just got back into it not too long ago. So I mean, a lot of the places and events y'all talking about, I more than likely wasn't here and like don't know those people. So I know for a fact that I didn't know Ray, but I've heard everybody like Sean, talk about him and talk about how bright of a soul he was and stuff like that. So if you don't mind me asking, what happened?
It's just our failure, man. He was a big guy, and he was a young guy though, so you never expected that shit to happen. Like, and he was just so happy to be doing what he was doing. Like, he found his calling in life, and you were happy for him. And yeah, he was a big dude. When you see big people like that, like, they have certain things that they got to take care of and be on the lookout for. And you'd hope that would maybe happen further down the line when they, get notified, on their next doctor's visit, like, hey, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Da, 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 da. And I think that week he had gone to go, if I remember correctly, he had gone to go get his physical, and like everything seemed like okay, like he was fine. Like, if you do get sick, just take your meds, take some rest, a lot of water, a lot of liquids. And then like towards the end of the week, like I remember I was at Jason's Deli, dude, and Mario fucking called me and he told me, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you're stupid. Like, y'all better not be playing some stupid ass shit right now. And I messaged him, like, hey, are you there? I'm like, hey, answer me, fool. Like, nothing. And I was like, God damn it, dude. And then, like, everybody, like, we all confirmed it, and we all went to Raymond's house afterwards. Raymond told everybody to go by his place, and me, Raymond, and Bert Garcia, we were like hanging out for a while, just talking about it. And like I said, like, he was close with everybody. Dude. Sonia loved him. Mark Benya adored him. Nathan loved him. Raymond, loved him like a little brother too. Mario, of course, was happy for the guy and wanted to help him along as best as he could. Like everybody, like I said, like nobody could say one bad thing about him. If somebody did say something bad about him, like, you're gonna be there to fucking protect him. Like, to fuck around with this guy, like, seriously. And I don't know, man. I guess it's like a lost chance. Like, you see the opportunity that was there, and then all of a sudden, like, you didn't get the full opportunity, and you feel bad about it. And then when you feel bad about it, it kind of drags you down, and you're just like, well, shit, I don't care about my opportunity right now. Like, fuck it. Like, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can't do it without him. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I just think about it like this, man, and I've been through things like that. I mean, I lost my cousin and stuff like that. And I'm just talking about like losing people that meant the world to you, and you were like in the middle of something that needed your focus, or you were focused on achieving a goal, whatever the case may be. And this is the only thing I can tell you. I didn't know the dude, but the way everybody speaks of him, everybody spoke very highly. So the only thing that I can tell you for a fact is that I know that if it was the type of person that you're saying that he was, if he was here now,
yeah,
he would want you to continue doing what you were doing when he was here.
And I do think about that a lot. Like, if he was here, he would probably be bugging the shit out of me. Like, hey, let's go do this. Hey.
Yeah.
Just the way he did with everybody. Like, he would just go down the line. Like, hey, let's come over here. Hey, I can't wait to see you there at the show. Hey, don't forget about the show. Hey, you better be there at the show. It's like, fucking little, like, all right, God damn it, I'll be there. Like, fucking hey, like, leave me alone. Like, shit. And like, I just like remember him as a fucking, stupid ass kid who showed up there for the free popcorn, and then he ended up becoming like one of the better hosts that CNL Ray ever had. And now it's, I don't want to put everything on him as like my lack of drive to like continue doing this. I mean, like I said, I've got family and stuff like that too that I'm putting up most of my time with. But it would have been good to see his success. Like, it would have been great to see, like, shit, like, this is fucking shining. Like, anybody down here can, like, do what he's doing. Yeah. Like, holy shit. Like, I know Raymond's doing great things. Mario, of course, like, they're seizing their opportunities, and they should. They've been doing this for like the longest time. they should seize every opportunity that they can. I mean, they don't, have that thing where like, they're calling me like, hey, come with me to come, right over here. Hey, come with me to go do this. Like Mario will invite me out, like, to do shows. But, then I'll like say like, I can't do it. Like, I'm sorry. And, I used to do writing with Mark, but Mark finds it hard to write, so I don't know where he gets his jokes, but he comes up with them like out of nowhere, and it's like that fucking voice, and then once that voice and that fucking joke hit, it's money for him. So
Yeah.
then I guess because he has the same haircut since fucking 6th grade, so who knows?
I switched it up a little bit. It's shorter on the sides.
It is a little bit shorter on the sides, or thinning on the sides, however you want to look at it. The guy is fucking 46, so either way.
He's 46, bro?
No, he's not 46.
I was like, holy shit.
He's like 39.
He doesn't look 46.
Oh, you're talking mayhem.
Yeah, I'm talking mayhem. No, Pena. That freaking rag will never go away on top of that freaking little stick's head. I swear to God, if you turn him upside down, you could clean your entire floor, dude. Like, that's so much fucking hair. Did I ever tell you about his body odor?
No.
Jesus Christ, he could fucking like go one-on-one with Gladys Porter Zoo, dude. That's how fucking... It's like when he walked in the room, he's like, there's
Damn.
Mark. Oh, Mark, I missed you so much. It's like, I'm glad you found a girlfriend whose nozzles aren't fucking up to date with everybody else's. Like, I don't know how Tetchy can do it with him on top of her all the time. So it's, hey, unless she's on top all the time, who knows? Either way, she's still getting that funk up in her.
That's funny.
But I love that guy too, man. I'm real proud of him. Him going to Austin and taking on all the... I mean, he fits in with the hipsters. He's got the long rag, the glasses, the smell. So it goes together with that.
Hand in hand.
Hand in hand, it does. And he's still making balloon animals too. So, he's got the quirky job, so it all works. Either way.
Somebody fact check me, but something that I wanted to I was reading some shit earlier. But a couple months back, and I'm sorry, let me just throw it out there. This is completely a 180. It's just something.
Was it your Trump shit
different.
or what? Huh? Was it your Trump shit or what?
No, not fuck that guy. No. What I'm saying is, I read like 2 months ago. I read that Texas had passed. I'm lying. Not passed. Had signed for a bill to legalize medicinal marijuana. This was 2 months ago, or 3.
Mm-hmm.
Then I read earlier today that not that it had passed, but basically that it had moved forward. Is that true? Anybody heard anything?
That's what I've heard, and I really doubt that it would happen with Jeff Sessions and our own governor.
I think
passing any sort of legal bill down here to allow that to happen.
You know what? I will say this. I'm not the biggest fan in the world of shit. What the fuck is his name?
You can say the governor's name, right?
The jackass Abbott, right? Abbott. There we go. Yeah, I will say this, man. I'm not a fan of his politics, but I do get the impression that if say Sessions or any of the Justice Department tried to come down on high and be like, "Thou shalt not," he would definitely be one of those guys who would probably push back against that.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, that doesn't seem to be the case. But as far as the bill for legalizing either recreational or medicinal,
recreational is
there's been shit going in almost every session since 2014. As a matter of fact, I want to say it was 2015 where they had a bill that the one fundamentalist Christian guy from up near Dallas had put in a bill. He was basically like, God said all the plants with seeds are from him and we must use them. And he basically was like, fuck it, make it all legal.
Which, now I remember. Now I remember why I was bringing that up, because I read another article that Democrats are upset because they've been trying to pass the legalization of marijuana, and Texas is one of the states and they've been trying to push it through or whatever, but they moved quicker to form a bill to to sign for synthetic THC. So that and this is being backed by large pharma, the large pharma market. So that was the whole tug and pull of that shit. But anyway, I mean the aspect that I was looking at, I mean, I don't know if y'all, well, I mean,
I definitely follow. Yeah.
yeah. So the aspect that I'm looking at is because, like, for example, I'm not a user. I mean, I used to smoke weed and all of that shit. All of that shit was great in high school. I'm pretty sure it's still great now. I just choose not to do it, and I've been sober forever, right? But with that being said, I'm one of the sober guys that pushes and supports the legalization of marijuana. But I do it more so for the medical side of it, and for the economical side of it, because this was like in 2015, just in 2015 alone in Colorado, just from marijuana taxation, they got over $500 million.
They have all the stats, dude. I mean,
So
they're not blind to it.
Like,
they see it.
I mean, I understand it. Like, I understand why they do it. I understand why it's more convenient for the government to push pharma rather than marijuana. I get it. But then what I started thinking about, we also have these huge backers of, like, they want to legalize recreational marijuana and medicinal and all of that. What I'm saying is, why?
Do you think the state of Texas is doing it to back pharma? Or do you think the state of Texas is doing it to just because of their beliefs? What do you think the bigger reasons for?
We've definitely got that fundamentalist streak. I mean, there's a reason you still can't buy liquor on Sundays.
Right.
That has nothing to do with, like, oh, they'll be drunk.
I mean, yeah, big pharma does play a big part.
You can't buy liquor on Sundays?
Nah, motherfucker, blue laws.
Here?
Yeah.
Yep. Beer,
you can't even buy beer until noon.
Yep. After you've said your holy prayers.
I could have sworn I've bought liquor on Sundays.
Bootleg doesn't count.
No, here. Maybe I did it. It's been a long time that I haven't.
And want to fucking wet us like Red Bear?
No. I'm literally talking about here. Oh, but back to your question. If I think that it's because, what did you say?
Because they're backing big pharma, or because of their own beliefs?
Oh, come on, dude. That's my personal belief is they're backing big pharma. It's everything comes down to the money of it. And the argument that the government has is that if they legalize it, they won't have control over it. That's basically the large portion of it, which I don't get that argument, because it's just like alcohol. Right. Back in the 1930s, when it was illegal, it was the same argument. They legalized it, and they were able to control it.
They see how well those states are doing: Colorado, Washington, all of them.
Exactly. So my biggest thing, my biggest thing is and also as into why I push for it, is for, like, the economical side of it, man, and the medicinal as well. I mean, I suffer from fucking chronic back pain because of my condition, so on and so forth. And I've been prescribed painkillers,
right?
But I have a very addicting personality. So I mean, the last thing I want is to get addicted to fucking pills.
Hydrocodone.
Exactly.
Right.
So I mean, I thought of it, and like I said, I used to smoke weed before, so I thought of it. I would much rather stick to something that's herbal. And because it's natural. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It's a plant.
Yeah.
And like Cat Williams said, it just grows that way. You know what I mean?
I have a friend of mine at work who is on tramadol to help with his neurotic pain from diabetes.
Yeah.
And like his feet would flare up, and he'd just be in so much pain. His back, he'll be taking tramadol. And hey, man, try CBD oil.
Now,
tried it, dude, and he feels wow.
Don't get me wrong. I've used marijuana in various forms for pain, for all kinds of shit, and I was a little bit kind of, that sounds a little woo-woo as far as the CBD goes until I saw a motherfucker who I know has horrible knee problems. I've seen him limping his ass around for miles. And then we were somewhere and somebody passed him one of those little pins with CBD oil in it. He puffed on it for about 5 minutes and damn near skipped out of the room when we left. I was like, all right, man, I'm a believer now.
Yep.
But what I was thinking about is the downside of it. And this is the downside.
Well, hold on. Going into that, have you seen the articles that are coming out lately? And it's like New York Times, Washington Post and shit. The horrors of marijuana addiction, the unsuspected. And let's be honest, man, people are weak-willed little bitches. And
of course, they're going to follow
the statement you made, addictive personalities, man. Some people, you give them fucking candy bars and they'll fucking.
I do, dude. I'm guilty. Like if I like something, like I'll latch onto it, and for me to like let it go, it's gonna take a minute.
Me, I want to say
that's why I'm glad.
Right.
I'm glad that I've never in my lifetime have tried crack, because I've heard what that shit does.
Right.
And I think about it, and I always thought in my head, if I ever touch that shit, it's a done deal. I would end up with no ass. I know me, man. I'm just being real with you. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think about it? We're having a problem right now on the national level for fentanyl, and fentanyl is some of that shit where it's like heroin. No.
Isn't that the shit that they came out of Russia that leaves holes in your body and shit?
You might be thinking of crocodile.
Yeah. That shit.
Yeah, no, crocodile is fucking crazy. Yeah, that shit literally eats down to the bone, man. No, fentanyl is I believe it is a synthetic opiate that is something like 100 or 1,000 times
synthetic. Is it?
And you can microdose the stuff because it's supposed to be like an animal tranquilizer or something. But the thing is, the people that are using it, the only thought process I can follow for that would be like, well, I really like heroin and it's just not doing the job. So
let me go and try this.
Yeah, man.
No, see, and the argument about it being addictive doesn't really. I mean, it's not a valid argument.
Because, cannabis?
Yeah, with cannabis, that they say that, that it's addictive and whatnot. But there's been studies done by like Harvard and like reputable people that say that painkillers are 100 times more worse to get addicted to and to get off of than. Did
you get addicted to your hydrocodone?
I never took that.
Did you get addicted to tramadol or Percocet? Any of that?
No, the ones that, and you're gonna laugh your ass off. But what I did, I was like, I tried it in a pill form, and I was like, "Oh, give me another one." Was morphine.
Oh, really?
I was like, "Holy shit, dude!" Because have y'all ever had morphine? No, but morphine
pill, thankfully, no,
dude. Like, when I say this, I'm not exaggerating.
The euphoric high, just
Superman. You have shit on me, dude. I felt like I walked out of the hospital and I was like, heck, I felt I could literally stand in front of a speeding car and I wasn't gonna fucking feel shit. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
I remember, because what happened was, when I was in the hospital, because I was in a car crash, right? And they gave it to me by mistake. Let me explain why. It wasn't, but it wasn't their fault. It was my fault. What happened was I was on the stretcher. They were pulling me out, and I was like in and out of consciousness, right? So I was listening, but I really wasn't there or whatever. And then I remember the nurse, she kept touching my chest and touching me, and she was like, "Sir, I need you to stay awake, and I need you to tell me, can you feel this? Can you feel this?" And she was touching me, right? And I was like, like that, right? So then, she touched me 3 times in the leg, and she was like, "Can you feel this?" And I was like, no. And she was like, "Can you feel this? What am I touching? I don't know. And then she kept touching both of my legs, and she was like, "Can you feel this, sir?" And I was like, "No." She was like, oh my god. And I heard it. Give them 15 cc's of morphine or some shit, and they just flush that shit in, you know what I mean? Dude, instantly, I was in heaven. I was, and then they took me into the emergency room or whatever. And by then I was good, dude. I was happy. I was in the clouds and shit like that. And then they gave me some other shit, which later I found out that it was morphine inhaled, which it works. It's supposed to work slower,
Right.
So they gave me this mask, right? And then I remember that the doctor was next to me, and I had the mask, and I had just taken a hit out of it. And I just took it off, and I looked at him, and he looks at me, and he's like, sir, we're about to let you go. Is everything okay? Do you have any questions? And I took it off, and I was like, yeah, where do y'all get this shit? And I was like, can I have some of this to go? And he's like, no. Sir.
You can't. That's not how it works.
This is all you're having. But anyway, the morphine high, dude, was it was a high that I had never in my life. When I tell you there's no, and I've been on some shit. So when I tell you that the morphine high, there's nothing like it.
Right.
There really isn't, dude. After a while, I'm not ashamed to say because I don't do it anymore. But after that, I went out looking for it. Like, and I found
just try to find it.
Like on the street.
Right.
I found it. And
the streets of Progreso, or is that anyway?
Well, I mean, I can't go into the details about it, but yeah, we like. So I went out and I was taking it for a while, and going back to my original point, I suffer from chronic back pain anyway, dude. That is the only thing aside from marijuana that takes my back pain away completely. Because like my back pain, when I tell you that it's chronic back pain, I really mean chronic. Like my back hurts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Whether I'm sitting down, whether I'm laying down, whether I'm asleep, like it hurts. I wake up and my pain is like what wakes me up, right? so like it hurts, and I always have it. So, but I've gotten used to it. I think if I wake up one day and I would no longer feel it, it would feel kind of weird, because like I it's like something I carry with me. Anyway, when I would smoke weed or whatever, it's the only thing that would like completely make it go away. And like the morphine
would work right away.
Yeah, and then not only does morphine work right away, dude, but it lasts a long fucking time. I remember the first time I was high for like 8 hours.
Really?
I was like, after a while, I was like, this is no longer fun. Like 8 hours, this is a job. Fuck.
Jesus.
So, yeah. But anyway, back to the legalization of it, man. I think that if they were to legalize it, and I mean like legalize it across the board and decriminalize it, and people are gonna think I'm crazy when they hear this.
They already think that, so it's cool.
So I don't care.
Oh, you've met Freddy before.
I met Freddy before. It's all good. Man.
So I think that crime would go down. I think that addiction to actual real drugs like cocaine and heroin, because those are like that's real shit. Marijuana is
candy makes you dandy, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it real. That's not a drug, man. But I feel that would go down. It would help.
Have you gotten addicted to coke?
To coke? Yeah. I never had an.
You ever sucked dick for coke?
No, definitely not. I've never sucked dick for any.
Your own or somebody else?
I don't know. Either way, you're still doing it. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, definitely. I thank God I never got to that point.
No, just doing coke. You.
Sucking dick.
You was like,
he was about to say, yeah. Well, this one time.
My back hurt for a week after that, but yeah, no, I had a problem.
But we've all done it before. So I mean, it's usually I when I would do
honestly, I do say I find less of the probably because of the crackdown at the border and stuff. Like there's less of it on a social level now. Like the kids that are doing coke, the 19, 20-year-olds that are getting coked up, they were probably the ones that were going to be in it to win it from the beginning.
No, me, I would just use it for sobering purposes.
Doug Stanhope has the best line on that. It's like, if it's don't do coke, but if it's 3:00 in the morning and you either got to drive home or somebody wants to fuck you.
There you go.
And me and Sean were actually having this conversation off air the other day, right, as into why like I didn't like using cocaine or whatever, because I would tell Sean there was sometimes when I would really go into like using it.
Yeah.
But I mean like really fucking using it, So the thing that would suck is that I told Sean, you know how people say I don't do cocaine because I spend a lot of money on cocaine?
Right.
No, I did not spend a lot of money on cocaine. I spent a lot of money, but I spent a lot of money while on cocaine, not on.
Yeah, no.
So what? Because what would happen was I would get so geeked out of my mind, dude, that I would go online and I would go to eBay. And I would buy all kinds of random fucking shit that I didn't even need. The next day or the next 3 days, whatever the fucking delivery was,
yeah,
like I would end up with a fucking with a doorstep full of boxes. And I was telling Sean, I was like, sometimes dude, I would open some boxes. And
what the fuck is this?
When the fuck did I get an 8-track tape player? Fuck, you know what I'm saying?
The hell am I gonna do with a wheelchair? Fuck you.
Yeah, dude. I was like. So, yeah, man, I would do a bunch of like stupid shit like that. But on the bright side, I mean, I don't encourage anybody to use drugs, but on the bright side, at least for me, like that's about the stupidest shit I've ever done.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I never went out and killed nobody. I didn't rape anybody and shit like that.
I don't think I'd ever get to that point. I never got addicted to it either.
Yeah, I didn't get addicted to it.
I did. I remember one year we went to the Bonnaroo Music Festival. You ever heard of that? Yeah, you heard of Bonnaroo?
The what?
Bonnaroo Music Festival. They have it over there in Tennessee.
No, I don't.
Like it's kind of like Coachella and like ACL, like this big old music festival. And me and a couple of friends, like we drove out there. We rented an SUV, black SUV with fucking black tinted windows, and we didn't realize that was going to get us in the ass a little bit later. But we drive up there and, we're drinking all day. We're getting ready for the Saturday show. We started drinking as soon as we got up. We're like, okay, we're going to stay sober. Rolled up 3 blunts. My friend stuck them, hit them in his fucking pockets. And I ended up having like, a little bit of fucking yay on me. And they were like, well, you're going to hold it? I was like, I guess I'll hold it. Fuck it. And when I hold it, I end up putting it in my backpack. But in my backpack, it was my sister's compact makeup kit. And when you open it, there's like a little secret compartment in there where like it's like another area you can put it in. So I just put it in there, like not thinking like hiding it. I'm just gonna put it in here, fucking. And we're going into the festival. We're drinking, and we're just like, all right, we'll be able to use it to sober up later. And then all of a sudden we see this Jason Garrett looking cop like looking at us as soon as we like enter into the fucking grounds. He's just pointing at us because that day we let my friend who's African American and my other friend who's like the darkest Mexican ever decide to drive the fucking black tinted SUV into the fucking day of the festival. That's the busiest day when they're going to have the fucking Tennessee cops there checking everybody. So as soon as they see them two up in front, they call us over, get over here right now. And I'm just like, fuck. Like, what the fuck do we do? Like, we're trying to like think, and like they're like slowly drive, and like 2 of them are like just like walking right by us, put your windows down. And we're like, we can't really like, do anything. And we're just like, shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, damn it. And then it's like, all right, everybody out. He's like, where y'all coming from? Texas. And he's like, yeah, we're in Texas, like South Texas. He's like, all right, like, let's see some IDs. And the Jason Garrett cop just kept calling me Pablo. He's like, what's the matter, Pablo? He's like, you feeling nervous, Pablo? I was like, a little bit. I mean, I'm standing in front of these Tennessee cops who keep calling me Pablo, like antagonizing me. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, he's like, all right, you got an attitude. I was just like, whatever, guys. And like, my friends are like, yeah, just leave it alone, just leave it alone. And we're doing whatever they're saying. And he's like, all of y'all just go sit over there. if y'all have anything, we're just here to enjoy the music, man. We're just here to drink. He's like, all right, we'll see about that. And they go into the truck, like searching everywhere. My backpack's there. And I'm just there, like looking down at the ground, and I'm just thinking, like, shit, like, fuck. Like, am I really gonna get arrested for fucking substance? Like, fuck. Like, what the hell's gonna happen? And it's that one cop just like there trying to find something. And then I see my backpack when it gets pulled out, fucking taking everything out. Everything. I see him grab the fucking. Make this face. Just fucking close it. This fucking just relief just like came over me, like
Yeah.
like holy shit. And then the fucking guy's just like and they end up finding the blunts on us. So like, all right, well, we found these, you're gonna be able to take those in. So we're gonna write him a ticket since he's the one that had them on him. And we're like, fuck, like, don't worry, we'll pitch in for the ticket. Like, we're not gonna like let it, you pay it all or whatever. So we gave him some money to pitch in for the ticket that they're gonna write him up on, and they didn't find the shit. And I just like opened up my sister's glove compartment. I was like, God damn, I'm glad they think I'm like some in the closet guy who likes putting on makeup at festivals and stuff like that. Like, instead of like trying to hide like some drugs and pass them into the freaking festival to sober up once the Radiohead comes on. So I'm just like,
that's funny.
But I was just like, and then I never got the apology from that fucking guy either. Like, I wanted the apology, even though I knew I was wrong. Like, if he had busted me, like, I would have been like, shit. But I just wanted him to say, like, okay, I'm sorry, like, sorry for the inconvenience. No, he just fucking brushed us off, like, all right. I was like, that's it, all right? Like, you're not gonna, like, I was like, God damn it. Like, I want that fucking apology. Like, fuck you. Like, yeah, I had the drugs in there, but fuck you. You still owe me an apology. Like, you didn't find him. But yeah, man, I've never gotten to the point of where, like, some people are like, oh, I need more Coke.
Yeah.
Give me some Coke.
I never got to that point either. The only thing that I ever did pick up when I was 13, and it took me 10, 11 years to put down, and I did get hooked on was alcohol, man.
Alcohol.
I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I've been sober for
That's awesome,
7.5 years. So and that was like that was hard. Like, it was like I used to drink every day, and I used to get drunk every weekend. Like, my daily routine, I would get off work, I would go to Stripes, pick up 3 to 4 24 ounces, come back, watch a movie or play video games, drink that, and right before I went to bed, I would drink 2 6-ounce glasses of Hennessy. Right before, every day. That was like my ritual routine type shit.
No jerking off after that?
The what?
No jerking off?
Nah, man, I was out by the fucking time
He was out
good,
way before
man.
I was out, so it wasn't gonna work anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking A. You have any euphoric moments that you were into during your heyday?
A little bit here, a little bit there, man. I had a bit of an issue with the yayo, but it was honestly the thing that kind of, it wasn't like, oh, I was out there being a menace and shit. I was on occasion, but it was mostly the isolation, man. Like, I'd sit around, just for days on end,
Right.
and mostly what it is, and I think this is something that people don't really take into consideration when you go, yeah, I think Coke should be legal, is that the problem with Coke is if you can get a little bit and be fine, especially if it's good stuff. Like you said, you keep a little bit, and I'm going to be drinking. Yes, a little stimulant will
Wake me up.
will do the job. Yeah, caffeine doesn't quite react with alcohol the same way that cocaine does.
Yeah.
But if, it's one, you're dealing with the assholes that sell the stuff, and
Two, you're dealing with the assholes who want some of the stuff too. And it's just like, all right, here you go. Like, hey, fuck it.
Oh yeah, that was the worst part about it, man. I was dealing with the other motherfuckers that were doing the shit too. But the thing is, you can't just get a little bit, and it's like, yeah, man. It's like, well, I'm not going to be done drinking until 2:00 in the morning. It's not like I can pop down to the local, CVS and, excuse me, can I get your small dose of cocaine, please? It's so it's like, fuck it, man. I'll get an 8-ball, and that'll just like, I'll just have it around.
I remember it's funny that you say it like that because I love it. It's one of my favorite bits from Richard Pryor when he talks like at the peak of his cocaine addiction. He was like, yeah, man, you know how like when you're really a fiend, but you don't really realize how much of a fiend you are? I used to go to my drug dealer and be like, hey, man, give me some shit just for the weekend. All right, Rich, how much do you need? Give me 2 kilos. He was like, wait a minute, Rich, the 2 kilos? That's just for the weekend, Reed? Stay the fuck out of my business. Just give me the 2 kilos. And he's like, you know when you know you have a problem when you go to your coke dealer and your coke dealer starts denying you services and shit. Like, Rich, I don't think we could.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I have another story of another comic who would do coke a lot, and would hang out at my apartment when I was living by myself. Actually, did live by myself and wasn't just haunted. He was in the restroom all the time, just fucking doing coke, coming back out, telling jokes, going back in, doing coke, drinking, coming back out, telling jokes, going back into the restroom. And then the thing is, my restroom was inside my bedroom, so we'd always be in there. And ended up having like the girl that I was talking to with at that time, or like we were starting to talk, and she came over, and I was like, "Hey, who's in there?" Like, "Oh, I'm finishing up. Hold on, I'm gonna come out." Like, all right, hurry the fuck up. And me and her go and we sit on the edge of the bed, and we're like kind of like fooling around a little bit, and I yell out his name, like, "Hey." He's like, all right, I'm coming out. And he like opens the door. He's like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get into this. I was like, all right, like later. And like I hear the door close behind me on the way out of my bedroom. And like me and her start pulling around. And she like lays back, and I'm like pulling down her panties. And like when she's like laying down, she like looks back. And he's like on all fours, like kneeling, just watching the entire fucking time. And she's like, oh my fucking God. And I get up and I look, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? He gets up right away. He's like, oh shit. He's like, I gotta fucking go. And he fucking like takes off. It's like, what the fuck are you fucking doing? And then she's like, oh my God, do you guys fucking do this shit all the fucking time? I was like, no, I don't fucking do this shit all the fucking time. I was like, I can't believe he fucking did that. I was like, oh my fucking God. I was like so fucking pissed off. Like texting him. He like takes off like as fast as he can. I'm like, you motherfucker, dude, what the fuck's your fucking problem? He's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. I was like, yeah, I know exactly what came over you. He's like, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I don't know, man. It just happens. I don't know what I don't know what the fuck to do, man. I'm so sorry. It just happens, man. Please don't stop being my friend. I'm really sorry. I was like, you scared the shit out of her, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And to this day, she just thinks of him as that guy fucking crouching in the corner, fucking watching. Like, you ever see that episode of Chappelle's Show where they're like in the black light and the guy's like having sex with his chick or whatever, and Charlie Murphy's in there with his fucking like dark eyes, like just there jerking off and shit like that.
No, I actually
that's how it fucking looked. Have you ever
It was the real world.
Yeah, the real world fucking sketch, dude. Like it was like just like that. I was like, this fucking guy, dude.
I had
dude. The scumbag behavior that kind of comes out, and you can't blame that all on the coke. I think it's.
I mean, you can't. Like it's
Like, it's like when people smoke weed and they're like, "Oh, I'm high," and it's like, "Motherfucker, you took 2 hits. Shut the fuck up. You just wanted an excuse to act like a goofy son bitch."
But I mean, their demeanor. They can be a certain way, right? And they get that little enhancement. It's like, dude, you're gonna go fucking overboard.
Right. In the midst of in the darkest depths of my using days, I used to hang out with a bunch of guys, and that was the thing. And there was one dude that I don't even know how. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, did you bring him? Whose friend is he? But here's the thing: he was an intravenous coke user, and he would come over, a politest fucking dude. Like, everybody was like, "Oh, dude, this piece of shit. He shoots needles and shit." And he was just like, "Hey, man, is it cool? Can I use your bathroom?"
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "Yeah, man, go ahead, man," because we'd just be sitting around drinking, and everybody's like, "Oh, dude, he's gonna be shooting up in there, hepatitis and shit, getting blood all over your stuff." And it's like, okay, look, here's the thing. You all are my friends, kind of, but I also know you're a bunch of scumbags.
Right.
He has never fucked around at my place. Like, I'd almost rather him go pass out in my bathroom
as opposed to any of you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Going in an area that I don't know about.
I had a roommate. I had a roommate once when I was living in California, and I had just moved there. And long story short, man, to get to the gist of it, he was a coke user, but he was like a real fucking like coke.
Scarface.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So and I mean it's cool. Like he told me, he was straight up. He was like, "Hey man, like I like to drink and I like to party a little bit. I'm not disruptive, but I like to, I use a little coke and everything. I don't mind sharing." Like he was cool and everything, right? But and that was cool. And I told him, I was like, "Look, dude, I'm letting you stay here. It's cool. Just as long as we're respectful of each other and we understand each other, and that's that."
Right.
And dude, sure enough, the following day, he was there and he was like going off like in his room. He was going off in his room like fucking snorting cocaine like crazy. Two things. One, as expected, he would go like on a binge for like 3 or 4 days,
Right.
like fucking just coked out of his head, right? He wouldn't fuck with anybody. He wouldn't nothing, right? But this was a scary part, and it was scary the first time it happened, dude. Once he would come down from his coke binge, like he would literally pass out like on his bed, like he would go to sleep. But this dude would go to sleep for days on end, bro, like without moving, not to go up to not to go to the restroom, not to nothing. He would just pass out. And I would go, and the only way and the only reason I knew he was still breathing was because every now and then I would hear him snore.
Yeah.
So you would hear but he was out, dude. And there was a lot of times where his phone would be ringing like crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember one time, like it kept ringing for like 15 minutes straight. So I looked at it and it was somebody. So I was like, "Hey man, your phone." And I was literally shaking the shit out of him, dude. He was out. Like he was completely out. That was the one thing. And what made it too crazy for me was when because like for the first 3-4 months that he was there, it was cool. He was using, he was drinking, whatever. But what kind of made it kind of crazy for me was when shit just came up missing.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's when I was like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, wait a minute, where's my underwear? Like,
And I'm not the type of person to like get up and accuse real quick. I'll wait that shit out, I'll wait that shit out because I want to make sure that if something's missing, I want to make sure it's missing.
Right.
Second thing is, I want to make sure that if it is missing, it's not my dumbass that misplaced it somewhere else, So I would write it out or whatever. But then, bro, when your fucking laptop is gone and you're like, and I used to use that shit daily to go to school because I was going to school at the time. That's when I was like, and I told him, I was like, "Hey man, have you seen my laptop?" And this is what gave it away. Like, he got real defensive. He's like, "I don't know, I didn't take it." That's exactly what he said. But then again, he was like coked out of his mind. And he was like, "I don't know, I didn't take it. It was on the table. Did you see it on the table? It was on the table last time." That's what you said. "Sit on the table? It was on the table last time." And I was like, "Bro." And then I waited on one of the times that he would come down from his bench or whatever.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, "Look, dude, my the laptop came up missing." And then I told him, and my backup cell phone is no longer in my drawer. You're the only one that has a key to the apartment.
Access to it.
So I mean, I'm not a dumbass, bro. Just because I walk with a limp, I'm not retarded. You know what I mean? So I was like, so let's just leave the shit alone.
I was born at night. I was born last night.
But I need you to get your shit, and I need you to move out. So I was like, I'm not being a dick about it. I'm not telling you to leave like right now this minute. I'll give you to the end of the week for you to leave, as long as nothing else comes up missing.
Jeez.
And it sucked because like he moved and he didn't give me. It was towards the end of the month.
Yeah.
And he didn't give me the half of the rent, so I kind of fucked myself.
So kind of threw your shit off.
Yeah, I kind of fucked myself over. And
You're a nicer human being than I am, Freddy. I'd have been going through his shit looking for it. It's like, okay, that's fine. Go ahead, take the laptop, motherfucker. I'm gonna keep this. What? This looks like your mom's
he didn't
jewelry.
have anything, bro.
Oh,
That's the
Jesus.
thing. Like,
There's my Speedo. All right, I was wearing that shit the entire time.
Yeah,
But yeah, okay, that goes back to what I'm saying about like the whole fact that it's illegal. Like, look, if you know when somebody's a fucked up drunk. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like I know people who drink heavily and I know alcoholics.
Right.
And there's that it can be a fine line or it can be a distinct fucking line. But you're aware of it and you can address the subject without having to jump through the hoops of the fact that it's also, an illicit activity. Whereas if somebody's got like kind of a pill problem or fucking coke or whatever the fuck it might be. I mean, hell, I've known guys that got a little too heavy into fucking ecstasy. And it's like, man, you need to cut back way the fuck back.
But I'd say I did. I really don't want to say I did. But one time at Gold's Gym, we were doing in CrossFit, they decided to do a fucking American Ninja Warrior fucking obstacle course. So we're just like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. And I had to swing from the bar after doing like 5 pull-ups. You have to swing from the bar onto like the fucking jump station that's right there. But it's just like this wobbly piece of wood that they just put together. So just like, fuck, like I didn't think about that. I was just thinking about trying to outbeat the fucking 19-year-old kid in the same fucking place as me. Like, fucking, dude, I'm fucking all district, dude. You can't fuck with me. Fuck you.
Go, ego, go.
Like, you ain't gonna fucking beat me, bro. And like right when I like jumped on, like, I was already thinking of like jumping towards the other thing and it just like threw me off. And I fall. And when I'm falling, I was with this arm, like I fall. I put my whole arm down and the weight of mine just like pops out my elbow socket right there. And I just feel it. I was like, God damn it. And I fucking stop and I get up and I'm like, son of a bitch. He's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I was like, it's fucking pop. And he's like, shit. He's like, you want to go to the ambulance? And I was like, no. And I was just like, fuck out of the way. I just fucking just jumped right back on it. And it popped back in and I was like, oh, and I could like feel like that tingling. And I was just like, all right. I was like, I think I'm fine. But I couldn't move it. And I'm just there. And they go and they get ice and everything like that. And I'm just like, son of a bitch, man. And I was like, really, this fucking had to happen. And then the fucking 19-year-old kid just walks by. He's like, hey, man, you almost had that shit. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I fucking hit you with my other hand. I was like, thanks. I know. It was fun. It was great. It was like, and every time I see American Ninja Warrior, I'll just keep thinking about, I don't think about my hurt arm. I think about that fucking little shit. Like, hey, man, good job. Like, fuck you, dude. But then, like, yeah, I go to the doctor. The doctor fucking prescribes me Tylenol 500. And it doesn't really work that well for me. I'm still having like pains in the middle of the night every time that I'm sleeping or whatever. And I'm just like, it's not working. So he prescribes hydrocodone for me. So I'm like, all right. And like, I start feeling that. I'm just like, hey, this feels nice. Hey, this feels pretty good. And like, instead of me like drinking like 24s, like I'm like buying like 32-ounce Gatorades and putting them in my freezer to like slush them all up, or fucking Arnold Palmer fucking half and halves fucking in the freezer just to freeze it all up. Pour it in my fucking Yeti cup, just slushy drink while I was euphoric from the fucking hydrocodone. And like, are you gonna come out tonight? No, I'm cool. Just here. And then right when that whole bottle finished, I was just like, damn, I spent that whole time just fucking at home drinking that shit and fucking just on hydrocodone. And I was just like, I'm not gonna do that anymore. Like, fuck that. And I was like, I don't want it to become too, like, I was thinking like I could go to fucking Progresso and get some more fucking shit for like $30 and everything like that. And I was like, nah, just gonna stick to what the doctor said. But I mean, I could see how somebody can fall like so easily into it and just be like, yeah, these are my nights now. Like, fuck this. I don't want to do anything else anymore.
It's one of those things where like you open the fucking Pandora's box and I'm telling you, like, morphine will do that shit to you, bro.
Well, you know, they always say, man, like when you're trying to like come off of something or beat like any kind of addiction, it's like, okay, you got to have your family and friends around you. You got to like know what you're doing with your life, make the plan and all that. And that helps people come off of it. But then you hear these stories about, you know, motherfuckers that are clean living and sober, and they got a good job, they got their family, they're doing all the things that you would assume, like, oh, this motherfucker's got his shit together.
Yeah.
They fall down, hurt their back, and they prescribe them
on that shit.
Yeah, man.
I remember I tried to mix it. I was like, I got the hydrocodone. Like, let me mix it with the Xanax. Let me see how I feel.
Oh hell no!
So I put one Xanax with it, and then I was just like, it feels cool. But I'm still like up. I'm just watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine the entire time, and then I was like, let me take the other half of the Xanax. And all of a sudden, I just like fucking wake up, and I fucking like, what? It's like already 6 a.m. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, really? It was just fucking like 1:30. What the fuck happened? Like, no fucking way. Like, it's just like, okay, I'm not gonna ever do that again. Like, all of a sudden, like, it's like, could have been there with like my nephews or somebody else, and like all of a sudden, I just like, did I really pass out that heavily to where like I didn't know what the fuck was going on? So, yeah, I was just like, okay, I'm never doing that again.
I am not a fan of pills in any form. I mean, the strongest pill form anything I do at this point is some B12. Like the other day before I came over here, like I told you, I'd been up for about 36 hours. Before I came over here, I swallowed like a handful of B12 and drank a shitload of coffee. That's about it. Yeah, but here's the thing.
I don't think you should. A handful of fucking B12?
There's probably like six supplements, and it's like, what, 800 daily dose a piece. So, I mean, it's not that much, but it's enough that, like, if the B12 is going to work for you, it's going to fucking work for you. Yeah. But, I mean, hell, this thing right here, I think has about like 300 times a daily recommended. But Xanax, fucking, like, literally, if I could find the person who invented that shit, I'd squeeze their fucking head off, because I got friends that got fucking problems, man. Really? And the thing is, it's that illicit thing, and then there's the that insidiousness available too. But that insidiousness of pills, where it's like they can just pop one, and it's like I'll be hanging out with a motherfucker, and it's like, oh yeah, man, I took like half a Xan earlier, and yeah, man, we'll go chill or something. We get to the bar, and all of a sudden they're walking around looking like a zombie. Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck? I may have had like 2 or 3 more. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Yeah. Like, I understand if you want to get home at the end of a long day or something.
Or something like that. But of course.
Yeah, like I'm always amazed when I hear people who actually use the shit, you know, kind of the way it's intended, and anti-anxiety and shit like that. It's like,
oh, that's what it's for. Okay. So I was like, never mind. I thought it was... shit, so you can name yourself after it and start a rap career or some shit like that, dude.
I was doing a joke for a while, man, but it's clearly one of those things where it's like you have to have the we talked about this, you either have to have the reference, or, you know, maybe I was hanging out with some weird motherfuckers, but like, you know, probably when we were all younger, you know, it's like, oh, people are, you know, Rohypnol and all this. It's like, I know motherfuckers used to take Rohypnol for fun.
Yeah.
They date rape themselves.
Yeah.
No shit, dude.
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude, and they get so fucking aggressive, man. You just see some goofy motherfucker can't even keep his eyes open. He's trying to pick a fight with you, and you're like, get the fuck out of here, man.
What's wrong with you?
I was gonna ask you, you're gonna hit the open mic tonight, or?
I'm not sure yet. They're fucking calling me at home already, so I'm just like, what the hell they need now? How long have we been doing this circle jerk?
It is 10 o'clock right now. Hey, but seriously, Michael, you're a funny motherfucker, man. I think, I mean, I can understand what you mean about the lackadaisical thing. It's just today, man. Like I'd been kicking my own ass because I hadn't sat down and written enough, and then I dug out some notebooks, you know, because doing some notes in this one, notes in this one. I started looking at it, and it's probably from like the last 6 months, and I'm going, damn, no, I'm not doing too bad, man. Like I've got like a solid, but it's one of those things where you write something, you do it a couple times, and then you kind of go like, I don't want to do that one.
I don't have it yet. Maybe it's not just there yet. I don't know.
And then you find one, it's like, that was a good. Why aren't I doing this joke, man?
Yeah.
And like, I'll be ready to do it. I'll like have it in my mind. I go into my set, and then I forget to do it, and I'm just like, God damn it!
That's happened to me.
Do it, and I fucking forgot to do
That's happened. No, and what pisses you off the most is when you have the premise tattooed in your brain.
Yeah.
And you fucking forget the punchline.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, that's not the worst. When you don't forget the punchline, when you just completely skip over it and it rolls right into the next bit. I'm like, fuck, that's why it doesn't make sense. So,
dude, I mean, a couple times, man, I've got like, I'd finish the joke, get off stage, and I go, why the fuck? Like, that's a 3-minute bit. Why the fuck did it? Oh, fuck. And you just realize you left out the whole
one important, significant part. Like,
that one little 2-minute chunk in the middle.
Together is like, okay. Yeah, everybody dies at the railroad right there. Just fucking takes a nosedive.
Yeah, man, exactly.
I don't know, man. I guess it's, I mean, I do want to blame part of it on laziness. Another part is I just see like new comic after new comic after new comic after new comic after new comic, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, everybody's a fucking comic, dude. Like, it's like, I don't want to say it's annoying, but I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, there's only so much funny shit you can say and reward it in the same, I don't want to say in the same manner, but you're not going to sit there and say, like, my joke's the only joke that goes that way, because somewhere out there, there's another guy who has the same type of fucking joke. And it's just like seriously, dude, like, there's only so much shit you can fucking, like, make fun of or make laughter of.
But
well, I'll say this, man. I think you, and I think we've all had this from time to time, man. If you're not at the open mics and, like, seeing the literal fresh face, never been on before, and they get up there and they die the horrible death,
right?
And I mean, it's bad for them, but it's kind of good for you, because you go, oh yeah, this is kind of difficult. I'm at least halfway decent at this.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I guess, yeah, you could say that. I do want, I mean, I'm not trying to, like, bash any new person that's coming out to try it. Like,
no, you just wish they'd stay at home and stay the fuck out of the way. Yeah.
I mean, like, a part of me is just like, ugh, like, seriously, like, okay. Like, I mean, but it comes to that point, dude. Like, you know, everybody, hey, I want to stick my fucking foot in the water and I want to see how it feels. All right, I'm taking the full dive. There we go. Hey, man, all the better for you. And when you come across that person and you judge them off of how they act or react and how their demeanor is, like, is this guy a fucking cuck, or like, you know, is he gonna be a fucking dick, or is he gonna fucking, like, be, you know, a little respectable in the sense of, like, you know, hey, I hope you guys accept me in, and da da da, and, you know, I'd really like to, you know, hang out and, you know, be here, and, like, you know, I like the group that we have. Like, it's cool because everybody has each other's backs. Like, yeah, there'll be a little bit of snide comments here and there because, you know, sometimes you don't feel like you're getting your due. But there's still a lot of dues you got to pay before you start getting that due. And you don't realize that. And, you know, maybe in your back of your mind of being like, well, no, like, I can do that. Like, the fuck? Like, I've opened for fucking some big name before. Like, why the fuck can't I do that? You know, hey, you know, it's just not your time yet. Like, it will be your time, just not your time yet. So don't push it in that way. Just let it fall into place. Those are the people that I respect. Just let it fall into place.
Well, to go against that a little bit, and because, like, by the time when I was coming in about 2014, man, like, it was definitely a small kind of tight knit kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, but since then, man, like, the open mics kind of opened up. There's probably twice, if not 3 times as many people doing it now as there were at that point. And I think at a certain point, that having that extended community, it's less of that, like, oh, I'm going to sit here and somebody will notice me and they'll put me up. And you kind of get to that point where you go, fuck it, why don't we just do it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you remember
those other guys would make their own little.
Yeah. And here's the thing, man. 2 of them were horrible, and one of them wasn't bad. Like, he was, I don't know what the fuck. Oh, that was some notification on the computer. Yeah, man, he had a great set and all that, but it was that kind of thing where, rather than, that was almost the opposite, where it's like, no, we're going to do it on our own. And it's like, motherfucker, you still need a community, because it can't just be you and your friends
on your own. Yeah. And they were, like, trying to get something going, like, at churches or, like, little bingo areas. I forgot where else they were, like, trying to do it.
They did one at a coffee house.
I remember one of them did do one of the showcases with us at what fucking bar it was, like, off the expressway and shit.
Yeah,
like that.
that place that was clearly had a little bit of that cartel money.
Yeah,
in it.
basically, dude. One of them did join us. Like, he's like, yeah, I'll come with y'all. And like, he seemed open to like, being part of the community.
I just came across that group photo the other day, man. We're all sitting at the table.
Yeah.
It's like the Last Supper.
Exactly, dude. And then all of a sudden, like, never saw the guy again. I think he did like maybe 1 or 2 more shows at Cena or somewhere else.
Something happened. There was some sniping back and forth between him and Mario, and Mario reacts like he does. And I was actually at an open mic, and him and one of the other guys from that crew it was one of those things where it's like, why are you? They were basically calling him out by name and shit, and it's like, one, why are you doing this here? Nobody knows who the fuck you're talking about. But then 2, I get a call from Mario afterwards, and he's like, hey man, I hear these guys were there. Said they were shitting on El Rey, and it was like, nah, man, they never brought up El Rey once. They named you by name multiple times, but El Rey, nah, not once.
Let's see that. The guys that were there, yeah. Oh, he said this about you. He said that about you.
Actually, one was pretty funny.
About you. This guy you should invite back to CNL, right? But yeah, dude, I mean, like, I saw that whole thing. They even went on Raymond's page and like give him like 1 star just to like fuck him over and shit like that. Cause
the catty bullshit is that you can keep that shit at home.
It's like, if you don't like him, like, all right, like, I guess, make your peace and leave it as that. But I mean, Raymond is trying to like, make a business and like, get his following, and that shit does actually affect him. So they could have, been the bigger people and just be like, I don't want to be part of your community. Like, fuck you. I'm like, all right, fine. See you later. Like, if you change your mind, hey, let's try this again. But I guess they just had other things in mind. They sensitive, I don't know, to some of the topics that were discussed comedy wise, or just didn't get a good feel for whoever was leading the community, I guess.
Well, it's like the little anecdote which kind of started this off with, that fucking like, some of these comics are misogynistic and racist, and it's like, no, I mean,
like, they would literally like say that, like, they were like, I don't like those type of jokes. You're a fucking asshole. You're a fucking
I've been through that too.
You're a sexist and everything like that. It's like, I'm not trying to be a sexist, I'm just trying to say I opened a door for a lady. I'm gonna admire, the view that I see from her walking away. No, that's still sexist. Fuck you. You shouldn't be doing that. You should just open the door and stop being a fucking asshole. It's like, all right, I guess, we can't, have a general conversation about this. Like, you got to be right. So
that's fun.
You be right.
Yeah, like, it's one thing if someone comes up to you afterwards, it's like, hey man, I think you may have gone a little bit too far in terms of like, maybe you lost the crowd, but like, to come up and be like, I personally don't, fuck you, I don't care.
There's a group out there, dude, of ladies and like those guys hate every comic that goes.
I've been through that, and
every comic. They're online, dude. They'll talk shit about Raymond. They'll talk shit about anybody.
And I haven't been back to get ready. Yeah, that's been part of the reason, because the last time I went, I ran into that lady.
The fucked up part with Yabrio was that there were a lot of folks there that were genuinely happy to have the comics there, because we always showed up. We always, we paid for drinks.
Yeah,
we weren't just
actually,
fucking
contributing and fucking helping out the scene.
Yeah. Whereas you get these little fucking, artist motherfuckers, and they shit. If it was like, hey, dude, the host's kind of late, could you jump up there? Oh no, I don't want shit. If one of the comics was there, it's like, hey, Rudy, can you? Fuck yeah,
I'll go up there.
Rudy'd be up there before you finish the sentence.
Gung ho every fucking time, dude.
He wouldn't even wait for the question mark.
He's like one of the guys that I'm very proud of, dude. Always hustling, funny. He's working his opportunity. Seize the opportunity. That's all I ever want for anybody down here, man. If you're a career comic, see that opportunity. Seize that fucking opportunity. Don't give up. Don't let anybody shit on your fucking dreams. That's all I gotta say.
He says through clenched teeth. All right. Well, I think we got a little bit off topic there in the middle of it, but fuck it, man. I think that's, considering where this is going out to, I think some in the audience can probably relate with a bunch of what got brought up here today. Probably a little too much.
A little too much, but it had to be said.
Yes. I want to believe that somebody's going to be listening to this in their underwear with a couple lines chopped up in front of them.
If not, there's plenty of movies you can watch and realize that could be me. Chris Rock, New Jack City, Al Pacino, Scarface, Sandra Bullock, Hope Floats, things like that.
I brought this up the other day, that Hangover 2, the morning after scene where they wake up and like, ooh, I can't watch that, man. That's just...
You just see those eyes and you're like,
just they got the right amount of sweat on them, and just it's like, oh,
those eyes waking up in the morning, you're like, God damn, I hated those days. Why did I fucking do that? I don't know.
Well, all right, well, let's go ahead and wrap up, man. You want to throw out some contacts?
Sure. You can, of course, contact Sean Hatfield at Facebook. No, I'm just kidding. I'm on Facebook as Michael Paul Garcia because of my football career. Believe it or not, my full name is Pablo Michael Garcia. You see, my parents, when they had me straight out of high school. And my dad wanted to name me after my uncle. But my uncle's name was Pablo Alfredo Garcia. And my mom was like, no son of mine is going to be called Fred. Fuck you. So they were arguing there when they were getting ready to sign my damn birth certificate. And you can see, like, my dad's handwriting where it starts off Pablo. And then it stops. And then all of a sudden you see my mom's handwriting. And it's Michael. And then Garcia. Like, you can literally see where he stopped, and then they start arguing, and then they decide on Michael. And I was like, where did Michael come from? And like, my grandmother would always tell me, oh, from the angel, and you're going to be a strong person. I later found out my mom named me Michael because of her favorite character on Young and the Restless. So I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Thanks. I found that out in 4th grade. That's and funny. She's all like, well, do you want to get an earring like him? I was like, really? She's like, yeah, we'll go pierce your ear. All right, let's go. Me, I'm all fucking like into skateboarding and rap. It's like, fuck it, I'll be the only 4th grader with a pierced ear. And go to Claire's, kunk. Show up the next day to school with a little diamond stud. Just like, look at me, I'm fucking A. Let's fucking throw this shit down. The teachers are just looking at me like, you shouldn't be wearing an earring. You should not be wearing an earring. Da, da, da. I was like, whatever. Wearing my Cypress Hill t-shirt, like, fuck y'all. Da, da, da. You can't do anything to me because they need me on Thursdays. I'm going to play football. Even in junior high, dude. Like, my dad would just always like, don't worry about it. If you have trouble, they're going to need you. Don't worry, mijo. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. All right. And get to high school. People from elementary schools down here and boys club and the other junior highs, part of them knew me as Michael. And at my original junior high, before I got to high school, they knew me as Paul. And I went to 2 elementary schools. I went to Navarro and I went to Seguin. Yeah. In Seguin, they knew me as Paul. At Navarro, they knew me as Michael. When I played in sports and boys club, I would always register in as Michael. So everybody in sports that knew me from the other side of town knew me as Michael. When I went to junior high, I would register as Paul. So they all knew me as Paul. I go to Mac High, it's like half and half. Half the people from fucking Morris, Lamar, and De Leon all know me as Michael. The other half from Lincoln were calling me Paul. And then my other friend who played football too, his name was Michael Baldwin. And we're both playing football, and everybody's like trying to distinguish like who's who. Like, oh, did you see Michael the other day? He did awesome. Like, who? Which Michael? Oh, Baldwin. Oh, okay. Oh, did you see Michael the other day when you fucking scored that thing? Like, who? Michael Paul. Oh, okay, yeah. And then all of a sudden it was just like Michael Paul. Michael Paul. Michael Paul. I just got tired of fucking correcting everybody. Was like, yeah, it's Michael Paul. Fuck it. I don't care. And I remember the first time my uncle, who they were going to name me after, he goes to like my first game and they announced my fucking name over the intercom. And with the touchdown pass, Michael Paul Garcia. That's the first thing he tells me like after the game. What the hell's their problem? They don't know your freaking real name. What the fuck is that shit about? I was like, I don't know, Theo. I'm sorry. He's like, you did awesome though. I was like, all right, thanks. But he was just like, he's like, this should be known, because he was like a known name back in like the 70s too. And I was just like, I'm sorry I didn't live up to your name. Like, you know, I should have put Paul Garcia instead of Michael Paul. The masses just took over. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. But even to this day, like I have it on social media, Michael Paul Garcia.
The stroke of the eagle.
Hey, it happens. The stroke of the ego happened a lot more times than I'd like to remember, but those were the days. But, I mean, yeah, just Facebook. I am on Twitter, like I said, just under Paul_Michael84. Again, I'm not too active on there except when I'm bad mouthing sports commentators and analysts and such, and getting into heated arguments with them. Instagram I do have, but I'm very rarely on it. So just find me on Facebook, man. I'm always on there.
Right on, man. Nothing coming up as far as the show. Or
as far as shows, no, not as of right now. No new shows yet, man. I will announce it on my Facebook, though. I know I'm fucking horrible about that, man. If it's one thing I'm horrible about, dude, is promoting on social media, dude, the shows and stuff like that, dude. Like, I'm bad at that.
Yeah, me too.
And I hate.
I
wish I could be better about with that, man. But I just like.
Everybody gets mad at me because I'll either post a poster of the show, the day of the show, or even worse, the day after the show.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "What the fuck, dude? This was yesterday." I was like, "Oh yeah, like, you weren't there, by the way."
Like like the usual suspects, like Raymond, Mario, Sonia, like they all know how to handle it. Rudy's fucking awesome at fucking promoting, dude. So, when you're hosting, when to fucking lead it in and everything, and it's, I don't know, man. I'm just bad at it, and I wish I could change that part of it.
I forget.
That's most of the part of the time. Like, yeah, me too. But I'm just like, this is a scene. I want to keep the scene going. And they deserve to keep it going.
And I'm kind of like you too, man. I'm kind of you too in the way that I'm not really a social media person to promote or to do much on it. Like, I'm much more of a phone person. Like if you need to get a hold of me, give me your number. I'll get you my number. You text me. There's a 90% chance that you'll get a reply in a text. Then
that's what I'll tell like Sonia or like any of them who have like a larger following. I was like, just tag me in the thing, man. Like, it's fine. Like, the people that you don't know on me, they'll be able to know about it.
That's another argument for having the communal aspect of it, man. It's like, we're all in this, for ourselves in a sense, because nobody's it's not like we're all going together, guys. It's like, no, you're gonna build your career on your own, but while you're doing this shit, man, there's gonna be the one motherfucker that can sell tickets like nobody's business, and by God, let him sell the tickets.
Yeah, dude, let him. Rick's great at that too. Kano's real great at that shit too. Like, he'll get his whole fucking city. If he really wanted to, man, like when he has the shows over there in Alamo, like he can really get that fucking city. Like,
it's like, who's coming to the show? Alamo.
Like, Alamo is coming to the show.
And he's very I still say
good. That's why he won that fucking comedy contest, by the way. Don't quote me on that.
He's very fucking I've never met the guy, but just story for y'all and the people listening real quick. I've never met him in person. The only reason I know of Rick is because Rick went to school with my uncle.
Oh, really?
They went to high school together. And when my uncle found out down here that I was doing comedy down here and that I brought it from LA, so on and so forth, he was like, "Hey, I have a friend named Rick. He does comedy too. You should link up with him."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, cool, whatever." Months passed, bro, and just left it at that. He was like, "Hey, man, I saw you did the set somewhere, whatever. Did you get in contact with Rick?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, no, I haven't." Basically, he told me like 3 or 4 times. So finally, one day we were sitting at the dinner table, and he's like, "Look, this is Rick. Message him." And that's how I finally, I reached out to him.
Nah, dude, Rick's good, man. Like, if he sees your shows and, he knows you got the presence and the jokes, he's willing to share the money, dude. Like, if he has like some shows going on in Alamo, he's like, "Hey, man, I'm going to get a show together. You up for some time? I'm willing to, shell out this much for you to do this much time." And everything like that. Like, yeah, man, I'm willing to help out. Like, no problem. Yeah, man, he's great about hustling. Rudy's great about hustling. Like I said, Sean, whenever he's getting ready to do his shit or fucking, host or what have you, hustle. But, it's just sometimes, like, with me, like, Mario will get on me, dude. Like, if I'm hosting, he's like, "Hey, wait, what if I would just put something, dude?" Just like, "Come on, dude, like, you shouldn't be telling you." It's like, "I know. I forget. I'm sorry." Like, I don't know, man. I guess
he's never told me that, but because I've gotten into the habit of sharing it, sharing everything as far as promotional, the posters, everything for everybody, whether I'm on the card or not. I share, But I'll tell you why too, because I've learned with me and Sean, and I'm pretty sure he told you, and I think I told you about this podcast too. We just got started, so now we're learning. Well, Sean knows more than I do, but
Right.
I'm learning the nitty gritty on like the promotional aspect and trying to get out there and shit like that. And dude, I was telling Sean the other day, I was like, it irks me so much. I even just fucking around with him. I showed him, I was like, look, Sean, and I click on share and I confirm and it shares. How long did it fucking take me to do that? And he's like, literally a second, man. I was like, that's my point, man. Why can't I have more fucking supportive friends that can click that fucking share button? I mean, like, that's it. Just at least share it.
If it was a morphine button, they'd be clicking that shit fucking all day long, dude.
So that's the thing. Like, now that I'm dealing with this shit, I kind of try to reciprocate that in the way that, hey man, like if you genuinely share the love for other people's craft and other people's shit, it will eventually at some point come back to you. So that's why I share everybody else's. Like I said, whether I'm on the card or not, it doesn't matter. If they post it, it's because they want people to know.
Right.
So it literally takes 2 seconds, bro. Click, and it's out there.
Yeah, I know.
So now I do it with everybody else. I do it with his post when he promotes his own shit, and you just confirmed it right now. I was gonna say I've never seen you really post anything, so but I do, man, because that one share, that one extra like can go
a long way.
further away. So.
And then they'll become a fan of yours and be like, holy shit, like thanks for introducing me to this person.
Yeah.
Like, he's a fucking awesome performer. It's like, all right, great.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked him. Speaking of podcasts, what about fucking you talked to Eduardo, dude? Fucking Eddie?
Yeah, I was hanging out. I was actually staying at Eddie's place first part of the year. Yeah, he's doing the Twitch.
Fortnite?
Yeah.
He's doing the Fortnite thing, isn't he?
He was the last time I checked in with him. It was
fucking guy, dude.
8-hour fucking streams and shit.
Is he getting paid for that at least?
I think he's a partner at this point. Yeah,
he is, right?
Yeah, I have no idea what his income is from that, but he's doing a whole bunch of stuff. Eddie's one of those guys, got his toes in a whole bunch of little things.
He's like a chef. He's like a gamer. He's, he did comedy. He's fucking hairstylist. His hair was pink one week, blue the next week. He did fucking what was that fucking thing? Not the Dungeons and Dragons. The fucking
LARPing.
What was it?
LARPing.
LARPing. There you go. It's Lear. What was I was saying?
Yeah, Shakespearean plays.
Yeah, he was doing that too for a little bit. Also, I think it's like fucking Eddie. You're fucking in everywhere, man. Like, Jesus Christ, I haven't seen him in forever though either. It's like you'd always be at the open mics too, and then I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm gaming. I was like, okay, that explains that. Never mind.
Yeah, no, every once in a while, I message him and he'd be like, oh yeah, I was just out in the valley for a week last week, and it's like, motherfucker, drop a motherfucker a message. You know what I mean? Just
fucking guy. That's awesome. That's great.
Just every once in a while, drop a group chat and go, I'm still alive.
I'm still here, man. I'm still here. I hope he is. That's
okay. Cool, well, Freddy, you want to throw out the contacts, man?
Yeah, you can find me at Freddy G on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
You can find me at hatfieldstandup@gmail.com, as well as on Facebook and Twitter. You can find or you can reach out to us at bouncingbrainspodcast@gmail.com. You can find Bouncing Brains on YouTube, and you can find the audio version of this podcast at shoutengine.com/Bouncing Brains. Just for a little bit of self-promotion, I'm actually doing a podcast with Rick Cano, Sonia Trevino, Jesse Lopez, and Joseph Soto tomorrow at the El Rey Theater.
Oh, it's going to be horrible.
I know, they're just a bunch of unfunny hacks.
Awful
they're
people.
just yeah.
I take back everything I said about Ricano.
And he smells now.
Oh, Mark Benny's going to be there too. All right, awesome. The kids logo.
But yeah, you can find that podcast at also on Facebook under Sean Hatfield, as well as the audio version at shoutengine.com/mad laughter. And I'd appreciate the listens if y'all want to check that out. I believe our next episode is actually going to be with phone in.
Oh yeah,
Y'all gonna
I'm
phone it in? Who's phoning it in?
Oh, we phone it in all the time. You notice how long we let you talk on this podcast?
Oh shit! I was like wondering about that. I was like, okay, there goes my mind. Anyways, I missed the first two fucking Law and Order SVUs.
Like I told Maddie on the last episode, if you got more interesting shit to say, it just makes it easier for us. If we could just sit here and nod the whole time, that's
pretty
perfect.
Much. This is your episode, so. But yeah, we did the first phone in when I was in Austin, because I didn't want to be the reason as to why the fucking content stopped.
What did you do with Jacob?
Oh no, that was a great podcast.
Oh yeah, okay.
Recorded after one of the shows at El Rey with Shooter, Sonia, and Christian.
Oh, badass.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was in Austin. They phoned me in, and it turned out pretty.
Yeah, Shooter seems like a quiet little thing, but you put him on the microphone.
You put him on the mic.
Yeah, man.
He's got that
He's actually
wrestler entertainer in him, dude. He's gonna come out.
Oh, he had a great orgy story. But yeah, folks, thanks for listening. Again, Bouncing Brains on YouTube, shoutengine.com/bouncingbrains, bouncingbrainspodcast@gmail.com. Reach the fuck out.
Make sure that you also subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers so we can get a damn our own URL. Damn it!
And if you are going to lurk, we request you touch yourself while you do so.
Definitely.
We just did, so you're due to do that as well.
And for the people that are not watching, disclaimer: for the ones that are not going to be watching the video, just a little eye candy. Nobody is wearing pants.
What? This jockstrap doesn't count?
Nope.
Not at all.
All right, folks. Guys, it was fucking great.
Hey, I appreciate having me. Appreciate the time you guys had me on here.
Don't let it be the last time.
Do we need to hug you after this?
Remind me to never do it on a Tuesday again.
All right. Good night.
Good night.